Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Lucid, and we're jumping back into this game with Late Age Ctis. So we had a really exciting last episode. We had the Bird Throne Rush. That was really fun. And now it's time to talk about kind of round two of the Bird Throne Rush. This is going to include a few things. One is we're breaking out of our fort that the birds have put under siege and almost popped, I will tell you. The other thing is I will try to remember as best I can because we don't really have great scouting. Some of this game is from patrolling. I actually did make some scouts, but people have been patrolling scouts out a lot. We might try to scry one of the places. Let's see if we have any. Caelum and all. We might be able to scry a couple battles here. We're trying to see some of them, but hopefully, if I can't see them, I at least remember. And can, share with you some of the other parts of the throne defense, because it wasn't just us, of course. Okay, so let's take a look. We'll start off with some of these magic phase battles. This is us magic phasing on Ctis with a Tartarian, excuse me. Very basic setup for us. The shroud's really good on the tart, because we're going to get Fate Weaving, Blood Vengeance, and Undead Regen. So now if you want to kill a tart, you have a lot of hit points to go through that are regenerating rapidly. Do we put up Gift of Health? I think we might have put up Gift of Health. We need to look at we have more hit points than we should. But anyway, yeah, we got a lot of hit points. I think we've had Gift of Health for a couple turns now. So this is the random province we're raiding. But yeah, this tart's extremely difficult to deal with. It's very cheap, kind of, from an item perspective. And very killy, and very difficult to kill. The way you would try to kill this, obviously, is Soul Slay, I think. Which is not going to trigger Blood Vengeance either. There's another thing I want to mention, too, which is generally... So I made mistakes. I didn't put pearls on him, which you would want to do to be able to do returning. This also is not something you'll see me doing a lot of. I generally don't like. So this is a guy that's like it's a super combatant. These are really nice paths. This is a really high-end super combatant kind of army caster. This is like a very high-end mage, right, unit. We don't want to use that for like a very low-end job. Anybody could do this. The thing is right now it's just kind of, let's get all the Caelum stuff we can, so let's deploy. I don't think we bumped anybody here, but I'll be interested to see how we scripted it this turn, because I don't quite remember. But hopefully we scripted it. I'll zoom in here. Oh no, we're just attacking again. See, this is what I don't like, because Caelum could just attack us with like, he could Cloud Trapeze a few Harab Elders, and then they could do Skelly spam on him, and as long as they're making 2 skeletons a turn, or maybe a little more because he's got Blood Vengeance, they'll keep him bogged down and then do Advance and Cast, and eventually they'll disintegrate him. So, and Disintegrate should get through this. Now, there's a chance maybe he needs to do like 4, but Cloud Trapezing 4 Harab Elders is that's a very affordable thing, I think, for Caelum. Presumably he has them after the Throne Rush. So in many ways, I don't think this is wise what I'm doing. This is just, there's kind of like a greediness that's happening. Like, I think Caelum's so all in on the thrones, he's not really focused on anything else. But anyway, so this is a mistake that I'm making. I'm not sure if it gets punished or not. We'll watch another one of these, our little conversions, which are still happening. Yes. Work? Yeah, we're not getting nearly as many as we should. I feel like we're only getting like 15. Yeah, okay. We got 19. That's still pretty good. We could do better. I think the way you just make this better is have more Saurmancers, but the more Saurmancers you have, the more likely they are to die. And converting Saurmancers into Soulless not exactly what we're looking to do, you know, in mass. Like, I'd much... The soulless forms are not very good in combat, and we're going to be fighting a lot, so I actually need Sarmancers, you know. The best ones for combat are Twiceborn. The soulless are kind of shit, but the normal human form is fine. Anyway. Conversion continues. We send another tart here on top of Caelum. We'll see how we geared this guy. Yeah, we're using his built-in Thunder Fist with the lead shield and then some MR gear. And again, just the shroud. So, way overkill for the job. We're sending Ghost Riders here to bonk some Caelum provinces. And now for the main event. I'm not sure which of these. I know it's a swamp that the throne's in. I think this is it. Yeah, okay. Here we go. So on Caelum's side, this is the army. We got to see it briefly. It looks like the mage support is largely gone. I think there were more mages. He's got a storm staff on this general. There's not a lot of mages here, guys. This is almost entirely without... I don't know where they went, because I'm pretty sure they were here. So he's got 2 mages back here with air gems, and he might have just... He had sent something at the end of last turn, like, I think we're going to fail the Throne Rush, or Throne Rush is over, and I was like, it's over? You just lost 1 battle, because he only lost 1 battle as of last turn, which was the battle you saw with us. Everybody else was kind of like a wait and see, like, let's see what he's doing. So he's got a nature mage here, but I don't see any other mage support. I'm pretty sure, and I went back and checked the turn, I know at the time, and was like, wait, he had more mages, and he did. So, without major mage support, there's not even a question how this is going to go. So, we'll turn on team colored squares, we'll hit off the pause button, and we'll let you guys enjoy. Oh god. Can't see anything in the darkness. Our vampire. I think we did Rush of Strength on these guys, yeah. So, not much to see from from the Caelum side of the house, but our guys have 20 protection. They've got regen on them from the Bless. We didn't get rid of the Shock Malice. I think we had it scripted, but I don't think we got that far in the battle. We've got Fog Warriors on them. It doesn't look like Skeletal Legion went. I think that also would have gone. Though maybe it wouldn't have. Do we have Rigor up? Yeah, we didn't have Rigor either. So, yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Let's take a look at this again from the Caelum perspective. It looks like they just immediately retreated from Wailing Winds. And I'm not sure why. Oh, they're starving. That'll do it. Starving into Wailing Winds. Not a great combo. And it's not just starving. It's starving, and then you've got hostile dominion and things like that, so... Are these guys retreated? Oh man, they're retreated already. Wow. It's like instant. Yeah, when these guys leave... Okay, they're not leaving yet. But they're about to. Yeah, 4 morale. Goodbye. Okay. Fatality. Okay, well, that's a little anticlimactic. I think we managed to cut off most of the retreat routes, or no, we didn't, did we? Oh, we did. Yeah, so the whole army's dead. I think he pulled back the... You know what? I think I told Caelum, I sent him a message. I was like, look, you're going to have to defend your cap. If you want me to leave any path for your guys to go back, I will. But otherwise, I'm going to be attacking. And he was like, okay. So he might... Looking here, there's actually a ton of high-quality mages here in Patala's cap. They flew from here to here this turn. I don't know why he wouldn't have flown the army. The only thing I can think is maybe the army wouldn't have... I think flying still considers friendly movement. You know, like, if you are flying through a hostile province, I think it's a bit more movement point cost. So it might have been that we messed that up when we took this. That's actually what I'm thinking now. I didn't understand it at the time, I don't think. But I'm pretty sure he had this army scripted to move back. And us taking this took it away from him. If we had taken it in the normal phase, it would have been fine. But I don't know. I think if I had thought of that ahead of time, I probably wouldn't have done it just so he could get his army out. But if he thought of it, he should have told me. You know, like, hey, don't take this in the magic phase or it's going to block my movement. At the time, what I thought was that Caelum was like pulling mages back to defend maybe, but then was like, I'll take one last ditch effort at this throne. Because he's still going for everybody else's thrones. So, yeah. That was kind of what I thought, was that he was like, he had told... I thought it was like not duplicitous, but like a little shady, where he was like, told me he would like, yeah, I'll probably go back and, you know, focus my things on other thrones. Because, like, there's no way he was going to win this battle. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. So I thought it was like a little shady that he was like maybe taking a second stab at it, you know, even though he had kind of told me. And therefore I'm like glad I rode out in full force, which is what we did. However, looking back on it now, I can see pretty clearly, I think we messed up his army movement with this magic phase attack. And, yeah, and then this army couldn't retreat out, and then we killed it, and then there's nowhere for it to go. Works out fine for us all the same, but just kind of deciphering what actually happened there was a bit confusing. I didn't realize what actually happened until this moment. So, kind of cool. Let's look through the rest of them. A lot of raiding. Ulm attacking. Where's this troll? Forgotten Woods. We'll go back and take a look at it. Spinta fire. We were getting flames from the sky, by the way. So taking this is quite nice, because the Spinta fire, I'm pretty sure, has flames from the sky gear on. Or no, it just can do it natively. Yeah, mages versus blood vengeance, a tale as old as time. So that worked out pretty good. I think that was, what, this one? And we take this is another fort we take. And then Patala gets a little fight here against Pangea. We'll watch that. Cool. Okay. Were those sages in his army? He has 6 sages. He was using these sages like a front line. That's pretty funny. They were bonking things. I mean, they were doing some work. Yeah, okay. So we've taken 2 forts from Caelum. This throne, which is the throne of Earth. And we've taken this one. Right? Yeah. This one, Wake. And, you know, this is all good stuff. Caelum has an army here. Oh, so this was... Caelum abandoned this, came back to get this army, and I'm not really sure where it's going to go. I think he's also going back to defend his core lands against Arco. And I think this was sort of negotiated with Ulm as well. Because I think, I don't even know what it was, but like how the armies... Ulm had a good comment, I think, in the last YouTube video, but like in the comments section. But he had been... While he didn't have much in place to like really defend the throne here, We did get lucky with the assassinations trapping a lot of birds back here so that only the mages showed up, so he didn't one turn pop the throne. And he's been scrambling like mad to get a proper army over here. And this turn you can see there actually is. And I don't remember if this was gatewayed or moved, but, there's probably 80 Storm Demons plus here and Ghoul Guardians. This is now a very formidable force that could probably easily fight an army of, I don't know, well, a significant army of birds. Whether it wins or not, I think would depend on the specific scripting. But this is like a pretty major army. And this is the turn that if Caelum didn't have their things interrupted, so the army came with the mages, this is the turn they would have been storming. And I don't think Ulm could have had a ton more than this present. But anyway, you can see there's kind of a good bit. So, yeah. We're going to leave this army, assume it kind of traces its way back to Caelum proper. But we're going to be going hog wild on the offense, just trying to gobble up as much land. We don't have any specific agreement with Caelum for how much we're going to take. The only consideration is just if he has stuff that's going to come back to Caelum proper and he needs a pathway for us, he can tell us ahead of time. This fort's now popped and under siege. This fort is popped, so we're going to be storming it. Plus, we're going to be moving out with a few more guys here with the goal of putting Patala under siege in short order. So that's going to be quite exciting. We certainly would not mind having another capital. And our province graph is really starting to take off here. Look at this. This is like a little rocket ship. This is presumably also going to be the case for Arco. They're going to be like a turn or two delayed because they were like all hands on deck for blocking the throne rush. And I was too, but I was also positioned to strike. So we did the parry at the same time as we did the thrust. They are parrying right now, and I believe next turn or this turn they're thrusting. So their score graphs are like, we'll look at it when the game's over, but their score graphs are probably going to be a little flat during that period while mine's jumping up. And we want to get this war over quickly because we're pretty sure the next game state involves us fighting a lot of people. So we want to just be prepared. We don't want to be like trying to finish off Caelum while other people are attacking us. And the thing is that you might be like, okay, well, why doesn't everybody turn on you now? The thing is that people need to take Caelum forts because Caelum has essentially taken all of their armies and put them out of their land. And then if those armies are all in on thrones and they get killed, they basically have free land with no army. So they're no value diplomatically very much to other players, right? Because they don't have any armies left. So it's not like they're going to be helpful in trying to, like, let's say, kill me at this phase. And they're basically a big loot pinata, right? For people to come over here and take their stuff. So that's what everybody wants to do, right? And we have drawn up some sort of spoils map, I think, with maybe Ulm. Like this, I think we said this throne. I know, wait, where's Ulm? We might be going for this throne. I can't remember if we leave this throne for Ulm or not. I know there was a chance Ulm might make a claim at this throne. No, I think we're suggesting Ulm go like beeline for this one. I'm pretty sure now. Because I see this Arco flag here. I'm pretty sure, but not positive. You can see Arco is doing some attacking, though. This, by all means, was certainly a Caelum province not very long ago, and he's got a Wraith Lord here. So, anyway, we'll start speeding through these. Turn 73 is up next. All right, we got turn 73. Record of Creations found one nature site. We're still wishing. I don't know what we wish for here because it doesn't say gems appeared in the laboratory. Let's see what did we wish for? I'm not sure. I don't see any wish chassis in the... Did we wish for strength? We wished for magical power, is what we wished for, I think. So some of this is for a reason. So we've started diploing. We've been talking with Ulm the whole game. We've been talking with all the players the whole game. But so it's time we get into the diplo that's going to follow this. And that is basically this. Ulm has a decision. He's been asked by Arco and by Arythia to 3v1 me. And this makes sense at a lot of levels, right? In fact, you as the viewer are going to be sitting there saying, of course you would do that. The thing you as the viewer don't know is that, let's go through globals real quick. Arco has Well of Misery, Mother Oak, Eyes of God. Arythia has Eternal Pyre, which is split with Arco. And we have Gift of Health. So they have a lot of gem economy between them. They're both pretty big nations at this point. Like, let's see if we can... We're like this big on the map. Between them, the Arythia goes like right here. The Arythia Arco conglomerate, right, is like this. And it's going to have most of Caelum. So it's going to be like that. It's pretty big. What we don't know at this point, and so I'm going to spoil it, because I don't know it at this point in the game. We know they've been working really closely, and we know that they're working to put up Nexus together. We just know it. Ulm and I do. What we do not know is that they also have a wish farming system, because one of them has found an alteration site. And Arco's found an alteration site, and Arythia can alchemize, water gems into pearls. So they've got this like crazy alteration site, pearl farming setup going between them, which is one of the most busted things in the game. It's super strong. And they're using that to also fuel Nexus, right? We don't know that part. What we do know is that they're planning on casting Nexus. The reason is because we've been talking with them a lot, each individually, not as like some sort of conspiratorial group or anything. And I think we've both been trying to get cut in. I was like, hey, if you're looking to put up Nexus, Arythia, I'd love to, go halvesies with you or whatever. And he's like, no, like just no interest. Right? Some of that makes sense, right? Because I'm like a big boogeyman, but it's also the same thing with Ulm. Now, late game Ulm is one of the strongest nations in Dominions. They are a really strong nation. They get, the members of the second tier, chef's kiss. They're so good. I love these guys. Stealthy Astral is just a great combo. Astral Blood, one of the best combos. They're so good. Yeah. And they're the real blood power in the game, right? So we've killed off a lot of blood powers in this game so far, but nobody's killed off Ulm. And Ulm scales really, really hard in the late game. I love them. I would like, especially if we could go back maybe 15, 20 turns, I would love to swap into the Ulm position and try to play that out and see if I could win. Because I think it's a great position. It's an absolutely great position. And it would be really fun to play that position against the Ctis position, which is also really strong, and the Arco position, which is really strong, and the Arythia position, which is pretty strong, though Arythia came back from being coalitioned and almost killed. Anyway, Ulm is this like super scary late game nation, and these two guys have a plan to put up Nexus together. And Ulm was like trying to see if he could get in on it, and they didn't want to cut him in. Now that's super understandable, right? Because the thing is if you have 3 players left in the game and they're all splitting Nexus, then it's like none of them have Nexus in a way. Some can make better use of the gems than others, but like the advantage of having Nexus is like maybe these two have it, but Ulm and I don't, right? So then that's going to give them a leg up, and they can try to push us out of the game, anyway. So they've thwarted our advances. And that also shows just generally the thinking between the Arco and Arythia player that, hey, we got to get both of these guys out of the game, and then we'll, fight each other in the end for the W. And so Ulm knows that. Like, Ulm knows that basically Arythia is not on their team, you know, like, or neither is Arco. They're going to do like this really strong overcast. And we also know that Erythia has the ability to do like wish farming stuff, right? And like when you're doing wish farming while you're controlling Nexus with the Pearl alchemy, like things get kind of crazy. So yeah, his decision he has to make is, do I turn on this player, the Ctis player, who's been very like friendly and loyal all game, always done what they've said, and by the way, I've offered to say, hey, we can go halvesies on Nexus ourselves. So he basically has the option to team up with me, and then through that get an almost assured win in the next war. Like, Caelum and I will almost certainly win against Arco and Erythia. So he gets that option. We can have basically an assured win for the next war. And we're both partners in Nexus. We're both partners in Nexus, including like once we're fighting. And then at some point, once one of these players are killed, it's understood basically between us that we would kill Arco if we team up together, and then he and Erythia would fight me for the final round. If one of them, if I start getting beaten down, then I'll team up with whoever, like, let's say Erythia is conquering me, then I would team up with Caelum again and try to kill Erythia. Or whatever, you know? Like, that basically would be the traditional three-way Mexican standoff at the end. But with the understanding that the first round of the Mexican standoff would be the two of them against me. So that was kind of the understanding that we had of what it would be like if we were to team up. So think about this from Caelum's perspective. They have the option to have an almost guaranteed win on the next war versus Arco and be partners in Nexus, versus the alternative, which is have a 3v1 war against Ctis. But as that war is closing down, well, first of all, Nexus is going to go up before that war finishes. And he's going to be stuck in what will probably be a difficult and somewhat long war against me. While the other two are definitely, who are going to be probably helping him in that, are going to be powering up off of Nexus. Now that's a hard decision. That's a really hard decision. I don't know what the right answer is, and I don't know if there is a right answer. It's just really tough. It's not easy. Yeah. It's a tough one. It's a real tough one. I think the thing when you're playing a nation you have to be pretty confident in is your ability to, like, to scale and power up. So I would probably do the same thing I think the Caelum player did if I couldn't negotiate my way into Nexus. Because the thing is without me, Caelum could never control Nexus on his own. Not against those two. It just is not an option, right? His only way to have in on Nexus, so as far as I understand it, is by teaming up with me. What he could do is say, hey, I'll team up with you, but I think it may be like game losing. I want a lot of the Arco spoils. And so he could maybe negotiate, because I'll be able to claim Arco land probably a bit faster than he will. But he could negotiate for more of it so that I don't claim a lot of it, and it's just queued up for him to take. The risk with that is that while he's taking a while to kill Arco stuff, I'll be eating Erythia. Because I'm not going to be fighting a 1v1 against Arco. I'm going to be fighting Arco and Erythia. And not by my choice. So these are all things he could try to do. But the main thing you have to do is you have to, like, you know, we're at turn, what is it, 73? Like, you have to be ready to fight, you know? So it's like, you need to power up, and then you need to take out the next player. So I don't know. I think it's complicated. I would have been totally happy with whichever way went. I think at this point, from my own personal perspective in this game, I think I am at a point where I could fight the whole world. So I would feel comfortable fighting everybody right now. I think a coalition against me is super warranted. They've seen all the worms. They've seen what the worms can do. It would be super warranted for Ulm to join in against with Erythia and with Arco. But the problem is that may be a totally losing move, right? Because it would be a very long war that he's not even guaranteed to win. And if they do win it, by the time he wins it, these guys will have Gift of Nature's Bounty with Nexus up and the pearl farming thing. They're going to have like 4 times his income or something stupid. I mean, it's going to be crazy how powered up they're going to be in 30 turns or something. With like, if they put up Nexus in the next 2 or 3 turns, and then they have like a 20 or 30 turn war, and at that point, then they fight the next round. You want to be on the side that's holding Nexus for 30 turns. It's just, things get crazy. Anyway, it's a tough decision. But anyway, he's going to end up making a decision to side with me. And what that's going to mean is it's going to not mean the next war is a 2v2. It's going to be Erythia and Arco against me. But Ulm is also going to be fighting Arco. So Arco and I both are going to be in a 1v2. Right? But it's a kind of weird thing. It's like Arco and I are fighting each other, but Erythia is also fighting me, and Ulm is also fighting Arco. So that's going to be what the game state shifts into. Ulm and I have drawn up a spoils map for Arco in terms of who gets what. You can see I'm pretty much almost done here with what we're going to get out of the Caelum stuff. There's not a ton left. I think I'm going to try to maybe get this. I might try to get some of these from... Arco's already laid claim to them. That's why we were going so fast. There's not a ton left. So presumably Arco has stuff in most of this region. So we'll also talk... I've kind of done this out of order. About the Throne Rush situation. So this army is marching back, kind of defeated. The army that Caelum had on this fort got nuked by like 5 flames from the skies. One turn there were birds. The next turn there was only Kentucky Fried Chicken. Everything was extra crispy. There was hardly anything left here. Caelum logged into his turn and he saw your army's been hit by flames from the sky. Your army's been hit by flames from the sky. Your army's been hit by flames from the sky. Your army's been hit by flames from the sky. Your army's been hit by flames from the sky. And the number of units that were killed each time got like lower and lower and lower until there was nothing left, basically. Now that's very expensive to do. It's kind of like a pay-to-win option. Like you just, it's like whale gaming. You just get out your credit card and you swipe it, and the army disappears. So you can't do that all the time. Though you can if you have Nexus up. That's one of the things. Like, look at these guys. They're splitting Pyre. They're going to have Nexus soon. That's one of the things they can do. Is it's like, oh, you have an army. We're going to cast Flames from the Sky at it 6 times. And by the way, we're going to get a pretty hefty gem rebate from Nexus. So those are things that start becoming real cancer that you have to deal with in the late game if you let somebody fully power up with a Nexus play. Anyway. Yeah, so that's what Arco does here. It's a very cool. Everybody in the game. So I think he posts it in the game chat or something after the turn rolled, and everybody was like, "Yeah, very nice, very nice." So that was this. Erythia also moved on this throne, which is kind of cool. So they're trying to take that. Erythia's been suffering for lack of siege chaff all game. I thought this throne got a playmate at... One of these thrones also got a playmate at... I can't remember. But I think that there was some parry that happened at one of these thrones. I don't remember which one it was, but I know Valen's watching the YouTube series, so hopefully he'll put in the comment what happened over here. I'm pretty sure they went after one of these. And then I don't think they went after this one. We were thinking they would go after this Erythian throne, but they didn't, I don't believe. So I don't think there was a throne defense there. But yeah. This was the other thing. Like, once Arco killed this bird stack, and then the bird stack lost the 2 on my thrones, the chances of a bird throne rush went from like a low % chance of working after I parried the first blow. You know, maybe it was like 5% chance it worked after that. Once he burnt these armies to a crisp, and I killed this one, it went down to 0%. So the birds have basically been defeated now, with all their armies deployed on thrones and killed. And yeah, that's it for this one. So we're basically moving in. Yeah, big armies going around. Let's go ahead and go to turn 74. All right, turn 74. Record of creation, didn't find anything. Luck's kind of running out there. Somebody was asking in one of the comments, how long did I think it took for it to pay back? It's expensive. It's like an 80 gem item. But any sites you find from it, if you wouldn't have found them otherwise, which isn't usually true. You know, often you'll try to finish site searching places. You know, the gems you would make from that, you get turn over turn. So by the time you find, 8 gems, it'll take you 10 turns to pay back. But it might take you, 5 turns to find that many gems, maybe a little more. And then you'll find some afterwards, so it'll speed the payback up some. So, I don't know, it's probably like 12 turn payback. But it depends. For me, this is a nation that has some real path diversity issues. Like, we really struggled site searching everything. So it's pretty valuable. If you have a nation where, like you're playing Jomen or Arco or other nations that have a much wider path spread, it's a lower value because you can site search things without it. Okay. We cast Wish. Going back to wishing for gems. One of the things I didn't mention, I've been recording a lot. Looks like my voice is starting to go. One of the things I didn't mention is the reason I wished for magic power. One was just so that I could use my Ring of Sorcery for something else. But the second was I wanted to be prepared to do a very big Nexus cast. And nobody will have known that I wished for magic power. So if they were calculating, and they know I have the Crown of Overmight on, so I can't put an astral thing here. But if they were calculating like how high I could get, they would be off. So basically the idea is, bigger Nexus Overcast. Kind of got on a little rabbit trail on that one before. Never came back to the main point. Golems moving around. More Ghost Riders. Here we trigger this very unsuccessfully. It's also one of the things... Oh, we have a little Golem battle here. We were fighting over who got this province. Because I don't think Arco and I had... Maybe Arco and I didn't really drop anything specific, I don't think. Because I think we're technically still at war. I don't think Arco and I have a nap. But I do think I asked Arco, like, hey, when do you want to start fighting or something like that. So this is Arco's Golem here is pretty cool. It's I got a Firebrand and a Shadowbrand. These are both really good on Golems. The Astral Hat, so it can magic phase. Then it's got Elemental Armor. This is really good. High protection, lots of resistances, lots of encumbrance, but that's not an issue for a Golem. And then it's got... Man, my voice really is going. Then it's got Boots of Stone, which are going to up this protection to incredible levels, followed by a Bracer of Protection for even more, and then some extra shock resistance, so it's going to be truly immune to lightning. And on our side, we have our Pokemon Golem, which has a Lantern Shield, An Ice Mist Scimitar. Now, we were not attacking each other. We both are going after the same Caelum province, is what happened. A Starshine Skullcap. We've got Returning in case that big meanie does get in melee with us. Boots of Quickness, Character, and a Soul Trap. And the Soul Trap, of course, is giving us these mages. We've got a Fire 2 and a Fire 3. And a Ghost Champion as well. So we're slowly surrounding him. With some Arcane Bolts from my Golem coming around. I think we've hit him. Yeah, he's down to 69 from 85 hit points. Our Arcane Bolt, as you can see, is not very good. How do we say? What's actually going to happen, I believe, is the battle's going to time out right now. Yep, and then he dies. So that's one way to kill a golem, is if you cause them to the battle to time out, they will die. The way this works is actually completely random, because... oh, no, it's not. Yeah, so we magic phased and he normal phased his golem. Because we magic phased, we got there first. Because we got there first, he ran first. And that means he died. Right? Because the way it works is at turn 90, the aggressor will run. So you're the aggressor if you come there second. Yeah, so if we had normal phase moved and he had magic phase moved, or if he had magic phase moved as well and we got unlucky and went last, then we would have been the attacker, and when that timeout happened, we would have dissolved and lost a bunch of artifacts. So very high risk from us there. Might should have put him on advance and cast. That would have done a lot better against golems. That way the Arcane Bolt would have actually hit. So yeah, that's that. Let's take a look. Still wishing for gems. We're banking up other gems. These gems are almost certainly going to be alchemized into a Nexus cast. So yeah, anyway, that's happening. And like... we also have 100 pearls, right? So when you're in the wish thing, you've got 100 of your pearls just tied up in wish casting. So, anyway. We put this fort under siege. And, oh yeah, the golem was going here on top of this fort. You know, Arco was trying to lock everything down. And, before this army could get here. Arco doesn't have an army to come siege it. He just wanted to get it locked down and get his flag put there. Nope, we got an army coming. If Arco did keep this fort locked down, there's a decent chance I would have just been like, all right, you ready to fight, man? Because it's time to go. There's no point in me waiting around, letting him siege a bunch of stuff when we're going to have war immediately afterwards. I mean, I could be talked into it just because I am thankful that everybody contributed towards stopping the Bird Throne Rush. So it's possible he could talk me into it. Like, hey man, I did this thing for the Bird Throne Rush. Let me have this first, and then we'll fight. Maybe. But we're moving some scouts in here. I can't take this yet. Yeah, we've also popped Batala. I think I mentioned that. But yeah, you can see we've got a lot of worms. Worm production is still going as well. I think we'll go ahead and end this video here. We're at 40 minutes. So next time, what you have to look forward to, next time I think we're going to be starting the Arco War, the Arco-Erythia War, and yeah, that's going to be fun. Arco has a lot of stuff. They've broken deep into blood. They have multiple of these provinces that have a lot of vampire lords and thralls. The number of thralls is kind of a good proxy for measuring how many vampire lords there are. There's this one that I can see. There's another one somewhere over here. I can't remember exactly, but I think he has 2 big provinces with vampires in it. So this is like an Arco that has a lot of blood. They've got a wish farm going with an alteration site. They have a partner with Erythia who's helping them do wishing even more efficiently. with the water gem thing. So yeah, it's strong. It's very strong. It's gonna be fun. So we'll see you guys in the next one, and until then, take care.